morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm your host, Sir Stephen Topham at the third, at your service. Now, today we're going to talk about this topic seriously. We do have eyes and ears everywhere, so be careful what you say and what you do, obviously. A lot of you are meant to be doing the job you're meant to be doing and making sure everything fits in place correctly. Because if we don't, you end up being there's a be a problem in the middle where you don't want it. Right? We all understand that from day one. I was speaking to a few contacts of mine and connections, and through now I am now gonna give out biggest hint. Right? A lot of you should know this by now, inside and out, that the North Norfolk Railway has got a bad review this year. Regardless of their certificate, which they say they are the best attraction of the way, or the ward, attraction of the ward of this year. No, it's not. It's false information. Due because they're using past tense information. Now, using past tense information does cloud TripAdvisor's engagement, if you will. Right? What happens is the North Norfolk Railway's award will be established to be whipped. Right? Rest in peace, basically, in layman terms, anyway. Because we know from fact one, fact two, fact three, we already established of the negatives for this year, or part of this year, even that. We establish that TripAdvisor is using what you call these days of standards. They're using past tense reviews as the way to stay at the top. Right? The management of the North Norfolk Railway do not understand what the hell they're doing, right? So private connections, family, friends and colleagues and all the others, they all understand everything that's unfolded, even my Steam team, even that. So, realistically, there are a lot of things that they can't get to grasp at the moment. At the moment, I'm leaving them be because what I want them to do is do another slip up. So, if once they slip up again, I will catch them, if you will. And they have done a lot of wrong. Right? I know they're going to do a lot of more wrong before they can get it right. Right? We understand that. But you have to be realistic. Some of the reviews go back to 2014. And I said, okay, let's take the 200 out and put 14. Bang. Right? So realistically, the North Norfolk Railway screwed up by using past tense reviews which that was already established for, let's say, 2019, 2018 reviews. They all had their TripAdvisor certificates handed to them on a silver platter. What's going to happen is, which my mother has stated, she actually went into the premises and looked into it. So if they think they got a bit of this and a bit of that, I said be careful because we got eyes and ears everywhere, as we stated, and we're not bullshitting by the bush because we never will. Right? So regardless that they thought, oh, we got this review and it's high standards, blah blah blah. They did it for a 1 day show off. Now, if they could do it for 1 day, can they do it for a whole year? No. Why? Because they are what you will call bullshitters, BSers. Right? Those BSers can get the North Norfolk Railway into a lot of shit of trouble. I mean, seriously, you can't lie to TripAdvisor and say, "Oh, we're the best attraction in the world." No, they're not. Why? Right? People know past tense reviews need to start from the bottom. They cannot start from where they left off because it'd be wrong. But you see, the calculations in all of this, right? The North Norfolk Railway screwed up so bloody badly. They don't know where they're coming or going, right? So you have to be realistic on this, right? A lot of you know. from right from wrong. And you know that the reviews they got, right, cannot always adjust the means all the time, right? So my private connections, colleagues, friends and family, they all know about it. So don't give them the BS because they won't accept it, right? We know things, right? God, I'm glad I've got so many connections. Sometimes it's all about respect, which is what the North Norfolk Railway is not getting. Right? They do it for one day, right? Because they know when they come into the premises as, you know, right? Let's just say the North Norfolk Railway knows too much, but they also know right from wrong, right? Let's just say a porter or guard knows when TripAdvisor's coming. They will alert the bloody diesel team and screw up the whole bloody lot. Think about it. Then the diesel team just make a mock one day copy of the best service and everything. Then what will happen is, while it was happening in April to April, as it states, which is where I got Duck to tell me the info. So don't say that I'm not always informed, I get told. Right? So don't BS on me because I already know one step ahead. Right? They do it for one day, right, just to show off they can do whatever they want, right? And then they, with the eyes and ears, go everywhere around the UK and the globe, and then we get it told and information wise. Why? They try to sweep it under the carpet the next day and say, all right, we got rid of them, right, get back to work, BSing all the way through the station, and bang, what do you end up with? Complaints. You see? It's thinking up there, thinking up here, and here, and here. That's all it takes. Right? Eyes and ears everywhere. The mouth does the work as well, you know. So it's not just that. But when you think about it, when somebody bullshits at you, does it become a very bad habit for a lot of people? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Right? You have to realise from right from wrong on this one. You can't escape it because the North Norfolk Railway screwed up anyway, right? I am betting on this because I know it is wrong to lie to TripAdvisor and say no. We haven't been brilliant this year. Do they ever tell the truth? No. They reverse it and say yes, we have, but we to standards eyes, right? For one day, right? They just do it as a show off. Right? My duck, right, who works at Muckleburgh, works twice as hard, works 7 days a week, more times than you could count, and then you're ending up and saying he's not bullshitting. Duck never bullshits, right? Duck does what he's told to do, right? I don't bullshit with him, nor with me. Why? We're always on the same page all the time. Why to point? Right? When it comes to the North Norfolk Railway, they're the bullshitters. They're the biggest bullshitters in the world. Right? You've got the biggest bullshitters in the world. Why? One day, it's not going to count for 1 year. Right? So you need to escalate when the people start complaining about the service they are getting, then it comes back on me, then it comes back on the steam team and my private connections and my family and my friends, and we all get to know about it before you can make the next move. Right? So when you think of eyes and ears, we listen and we do watch and we learn and we process and everything else, but we still have to do our jobs to the T. Why? Because we are well respected. The hats are well respected. We don't bullshit, right? If you want that bullshit, take it to take it the other side. You know, don't take it on us. Just we, well, I would say me and the steam team. We don't bullshit, right? I'll be straightforward with you. You're the ones that are losing out because you're making a big judgment of error. Right? A lot of you do not see the bigger picture. When the eyes say this, we are meaners. We are telling the truth. Right? The diesel team will lie. Why? They do it for one day stunt to press the TripAdvisor for half a year, and then what they do is they get a big juicy award, and it ends up being wrong. Why? How can a TripAdvisor, right? I'm going to be blunt, but I'm going to be actually truthful on you because I don't like to be dishonest with you. So, with the Diesel team being active as they are, the management as they are lying to their teeth, right? You gotta just start working around that and say, God, how did he know that? How does he know this and that? I said, I know every move they made. I don't disrespect the railway, regardless of the railway's making bad choices at the moment. They do not appreciate what they got. Wait, wait. It's going to backfire on them one day, and it will hit, and it will eventually hit, and they will know what they lost, what they achieved. It's not really it's not be pointless, right? So when you look at the North Norfolk Railway, even the taxi drivers know this, the community knows this. I'm not mentioning no names in this, so I'm telling you, when the North Norfolk Railway tells you a lot of BS when I'm not, think about it. Who is trying to tell you be more honest with you? Right? If you were part of that management team, you would be backing off and staying away from them at this moment. Why? Because if you join them, you will hear what they will be saying and all that. And they will tell you, they will probably say in your face, don't tell anyone, bang it off. Why? I'll be honest with you, straight to the T. They would not like you and they will just boot you out. That's how stupid they are and naive they are. Right? I'm not disrespectful. I'm being complete honest. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. Right? There are a lot of things what the eyes and ears can do for us. Right? But there are a lot of advantages they say. Right? I hear from a lot of people from time to time. Right? If the eyes don't deceive you, right? It's because you never looked properly enough to realise why is this individual doing these podcasts every day on an honest note and not being dishonest with us, and that's all in black and white. I said, do you think I'll be jumping there and then? Why? Why I know so much? Why? Because eyes, ears, and is everywhere for us. So you know, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, that the North Norfolk Railway didn't grow up enough to understand principles. It's a thing we talked about in one of my podcasts. I told you the North Norfolk Railway has got no principles right now because they lost it all. Right? They just did a 1 day show off, which is not good enough. If they did that every day of the week, and throughout the whole year and not BS. Just get to the point, help the individual, help the public, help the community, help the customers, all of that. People will appreciate it more. But the more BS you do, when you just think you got 1 day shot out of this, people noticing it, right? We know it, but the community knows it. That's why eyes and ears are the biggest key. Why? Because we know things that you don't expect. Let's just say, for future reference here, let's just say if the North Norfolk Railway completely failed on you, what are you going to do? Cry wolf? Well, the service of transport would be there, but the management will be gone. Why? They failed on you for being dishonest. Right? Rumours included, and you will end up with nothing. I said they don't deserve that 2024 award. Why? Let me put this in perspective. Sometimes a lot of things they want is not a complete need for them. Right? You got to be realistic and say, how do I know these things? I pick up on things. Right? I know the TripAdvisor is a big key for attractions, but the North Norfolk Railway isn't an attraction. It's a transport use. Right? It's not just the heritage railway. Right? They're classing it as a business, which is making it override on the TripAdvisor. So when the management starts moaning and groaning, which they do, or which they are doing right now, they're moaning till the cows come home. Right? You have to put it in perspective. How and why they are being white. Would you like to completely say none expectations on themselves to realise right from wrong? We talked about that in another podcast. I stated to you, I warned you, I even told you, don't mess what's unfolding because what happens is the North Norfolk Railway will end up screwed up. I'm not getting involved with them right now. When the time comes, you're going to end up saying, I'm right because you're going to put me right in a position to put you right. I'm not going to BS. I'm going to get straight to the point and say, no, don't discriminate what you already booted out the first time round. Right? They're trying to do it the second time round, but they can't. Why? They got the people they want and keep. Right? They booted out all the people they don't want. Right? Why did they didn't know what was going to be properly unfolded if they actually said, oh, we just get rid of him. Birth, birth, birth. He can be a her as well, you know. So it doesn't matter what gender you are, or what race you are, or what language you speak. It's the actual outcome of being what I what the North Norfolk Railway lacks. Why? Which is one thing that I can tell you the reason why they failing is because they haven't got something they need. Right? It's more of what the community needs, not the other way round. They don't want to keep travelling. Right? I keep telling you, North Norfolk Railway screwed up. Right? Eyes and ears are everywhere, but we are not telling who's who. Why? Because it's all back. It's coming back to me because let's say family, friends, connections, and we know everything they know as well as you know. Right? In the day, people are going to end up crying wolf. Why? Because the North Norfolk Railway didn't have the decency to grow up and realise they got customers that want respect. If I find them being abusive, like they did in 2019, then I'll be on their backs because I'm being honest with you. Right? The honesty is the best policy. Right? When they ask about tickets or about customer services and all of that, you've got to be realistic. Right? When people say we have eyes and ears everywhere and we know every move you made mistakenly. Right? We know that the customers are not happy. We know the community is not definitely not happy with you lot, but that's why they're avoiding it. Why? Because they don't want to get the conflict. So what happens? The conflict will end up being backfired on the North Norfolk Railway and they will end up crying wolf. Why? Because they've been wasting coal, water, and even resources on top. Why? Because they're not thinking straight. They never have been. So when they get the TripAdvisor 2024 award this year, I said it's fake. Why? Because if you don't do background detail, which is what I say, The past tense reviews do not count. You have to count it on the year, like 2024 or 2025, depending on what is actually more recent, right? You don't backfire and do a backtrack of all the reviews you had. It doesn't work. You know it's not going to work because you have to do it on a year to year basis. What happens is when 1 year's done, then put the reviews to one side. You do not think about them or use them because that's where the abuse is. Right? TripAdvisor did just that. Right? Because they took 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, nearly 11 years worth of false material. Right? We exclude the 2024 out of the way, so we make it 10 years. Let's say every 10 years you have to review it properly. Right? You do not, you do it by year, a year. Right? You only use 1 year instead of all of them. Why? Because you need an accurate review point for that year. Why? TripAdvisor has what you call a filtering system, which enables a user and a person that views your reviews every year. Right? They have to do it year by year. They can't do it with every year because that'd be boring. It'd be what you will call a lot of quest work, test work, if you like to call it computer work. Right? If I was doing it properly by the books, I do it by the exact year. Why? Why 2024 was not right? Because they're using past tense reviews. Right? Right? It even happens on Facebook and Twitter and all the other bing bang bongs. I'm not going to go into detail, but you get the point. You're ending up with this. Even Google has that problem. Right? You need to start prioritizing. Right? You're not going to move forward unless you've got the reviews the correct way. Right? Because a lot of it is past tense. Past tense does not help. You're carrying a lot of baggage there, and I advise you. And I'm very, very particular on knowing what is unfolding, right? I know the North Norfolk Railway wants to have all that high reviews, right? 2024, right? You look at the dates and the years for that year, right? You don't go to 2023 or 2022 or 2021 or 19 or 18 or that lot. You want to exclude all that. Why? This is how the North Norfolk Railway cheats its way up to the reward. Think about it. If they cheated that way so badly, it will impact on every heritage department or attraction around the UK. They have to do it year by year. Why? They try what they do is a lot of attractions around the UK. It doesn't involve the North Norfolk Railway in general. Right? Every attraction, every place in the United Kingdom has to do it by year. Right? They do not use past tense reviews as like a top up. You do not do it that way. It's so bad because the reviews of the past may conflict the one that you're doing in present day mode. You keep going back in time and back in time and back in time, you're ending up with baggage you don't need. Right? It doesn't just apply to the North Norfolk Railway. It can happen with every attraction around the globe and the United Kingdom in general. When a TripAdvisor goes into the building, they always take what they see, right? But they don't over know what's actually unfolded during the year, right? They only just come in and out, in and out, in and out. But when I notice things, right, I always say, right, when the people, even, let's say the North Norfolk Railway had a lot of dummies, right? I know there's a lot of dummies out there. I'm not saying it's the whole community in general, but let's just say the North Norfolk Railway do a lot of email accounts, passwords, just to log up and top up everything up constantly like a repeating record. No, 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 no. No, that's not going to happen either. I want you to think out of the box for this one and understand this is reality, right? You're going to end up waking up smelling the coffee and feel we haven't done anything right here, right? So you need to realise what is real to this year, not actually past tense. Let's take 2014 out of the way, 15 out of the way, 16 out of the way, 17 out of the way, 18 out of the way, 19 out of the way, and 20 and 21 and 22, 23, and then you're coming up to 2024. What do you do when you get a reward every year for every attraction in the United Kingdom? As example, right? You have to use your eyes and ears, right? We all agree there's good reviews, bad reviews all the time, but you have to use it on the year. So if it was like 2025, which we're not in yet, right? What the North Norfolk Railway or any attraction or any public place in the United Kingdom that has TripAdvisor put in, they have to do it year by year. We know it's top market for 20, let's say 2024, right? You do not go forward unless you're going to take something out because you have to be honest with the community because it's like ratings, right? You rate it, but then you don't realize you're falsifying it because it's not recent, right? When something is recent in front of you, what do you do with past tense information? Then it becomes invalid, right? When we discuss it in deep terms like this, we look into the future and then we forget about the past a little bit, right? You want to move forward, you have to take what is given on you, right? In 2024, right, there could be less top reviews and less and more negatives, right? So you're going to have to balance out everything to get it right. If the North Norfolk Railway is playing with the table, if you will, right, you don't get a snooker cue. You know, let's give you a little tip here, just to give you a heads up, right? Anybody can rig the table. When I rig the table, I mean like something you will find in Star Trek, and there was, let's say the Nausicans want to take down the Federation playing a game of Dong Jock, right? It's similar to that on the table, right? You got to be realistic and say, no, you do not rig that table. Didn't, right, let me give you a scenario that will help you out, right? I, I know you guys are trying to say you want to be honest, you want to be truthful and kind and everything else, and be honest with the community to say, look, we didn't get much reviews this year because we had to take out the past tense to get it correct, to make sure everybody's accurate. You know, people are not going to look at past tense all the time. It doesn't work. You know, when you put it on the table, so the chips on the table, I'm not gambling something that I may not win. You know what I mean? It's like that in 1%. If I said it's all true, it's all accurate, and you know that certain things unfold for a reason, right? You need to start realizing there's a lot of things that can't be explained directly, right? TripAdvisor and most of the Google reviews and all of that, Google reviews can only hold so much, right? They don't do it by year. They do it by every comment that you make, right? You need to start saying the eyes and ears are everywhere around the globe, even myself. I know exactly how you feel. You feel gutted because you feel like you deserve that award, and you feel like you gained it. You feel like you felt responsible for it. I said, look, I'm not blaming every employee or employer around the damn UK. You know what I mean? This is something that needs to look in deeper to get the accuracy of the result. You know, if you want a good result, you've got to earn it a little bit more than just halfway from April to April. Doesn't work like that, because it's like, say, if you want the reward or the award certificate to say we're the best attraction of the year, you have to wait until the end of the year. You know, you can't do it from April to April. It doesn't work. It never works. Why? The results will be inaccurate because you're doing it by half year. Right? When you do it by beginning of the year to the end of the year, you're guaranteed something. Right? But you can't just jump and realize, what does he mean by that? I said, look, if you don't look at it, you will learn something. Right? There's a lot of things in that public place, even the North Norfolk Railway, even that. I said, things are worth waiting for. You can't judge a book by its cover. When you read a book, right, there are things that you have to know to understand everything, right? You can't just acknowledge that you can't just run. You have to walk it. When you walk, you get a better result. If you run it, you trip over and have accidents. Right? You need to start thinking on that terms, that logic, because you're working hard, you're doing everything hard, you're doing it by the book, but then you got to be realistic. What is what is causing not the best result for this year or next year? Right? You need to start cleaning every year. Why? Different customers have different opinions, right? Which we understand, which gives out the negatives and the positives. But you do it by year. You don't use past tense, right? If you go back to 2014 or 13 or 2012 or going back in the 90s or the 80s, every result is different. You can't just say TripAdvisor's lost its rank, right? TripAdvisor could be closing down because they don't know from right from wrong what's an accurate result for that year. You've got to start prioritising what you see is what you get. Yes, eyes and ears everywhere. We know that. You have to work around that to say, look, it can happen anywhere, right? I'm not saying that it could hit the UK directly. It can hit the US as well, and the other places as well. And they tell you accurately what is good, what is bad, what is mediocre, whatever. You have to be honest with your opinions, right? But it has to happen. Right? What you have to realise: past tense reviews do not count. This is where the jigsaw puzzle on this puzzle ending. Right? You need to realise I won't accept that acknowledgement to be saying they deserve that review reward. Right? I will say, you know why? Because they looked into the past reviews to get the top mark. Right? When people look into it, right, they have to break it down by 2024 and above. Why? If they go back too far, they ending up making a false accusation because it's like a false report, like a false examination card, or false something else. You want to be realistic? I said, look, what made the North Norfolk Railway as a prime target around this? I said the reviews don't always justify the means, right? Right. So when you think of 2020, let's say two, triple two four reviews, right? When it comes to the actual bottom of it, right? right? A lot of people are going to reverse this to help you out, right? You want to filter out and look at the recent or most up to date reviews, because if you do, you get a better result. In the end of the day, when you look at these things and you really look down on it, right? The excellent could go back as further as like 2014, 13. It's not right, right? So you have to filter out not what month it is, or yeah, this is not the traveller's rating you're looking for. You're looking year by year. You don't want time of the year, you want year by year. Why? If you look at it by time of year, like January or February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, you're not going to get the accurate reading, right? I want you to really understand where this is all coming from, because in the day, not many people will be honest, right, with the reviews and everything else. But then you have to look backwards, right, and take it to not most detail, most recent. You want to take it to the most recent, but then you got to realize there's a lot of catches, right? People are probably just doing this for fun or entertainment. I said don't, because when it comes down to the bottom part of it all, which is the accuracy of it all, right? When the people look into this, they look into this. Why is it popular, but it's not popular this year? A lot of people say, oh, yeah, well, it's 2024. That's half a year. But how many reviews have you actually got this year? Right, I'm going to go right through, right, from June at the moment, because this is a really like saying, yeah, well, without the, let's say that it goes right into January and February, March, right? End of the day, you're going to end up with the big, with the big scenario, right? Let me get this one off right offline for a moment to help you all out, because I want you to fully understand why, right? Throughout all of this year, there's a catch, right? So you have to be honest, right? The TripAdvisor has to be honest on the reviews, right? At the same time as being the complete negatives, right? So when you look at the reviews since, right? Right, when you look at the tops, as they call it, I call it the tops for obvious reasons, right? Do you know how many reviews they actually got this year for 2024? I'm now going to be complete honest with you, and you're not going to like it, right? And I'm going to put it on black and white as well, because I don't want people to be misled, right? Alright, I'm now going to get it completely right. One, two, three, four, six, seven, 8, 9. Right, by filtering it out, how many reviews do you think the North Norfolk Railway had this year for best performance of it? 9 bloody times! Work that out. Ding, 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 ding. That shows you something, don't it? 9 bloody times. Now, right, 9 times from 2024 alone on its own. It's not the highest attraction of the year. It's a lie, because the TripAdvisor and the North Norfolk Railway wanted to keep all the past tense logs. Right? I would say 9 times of best attraction, right, of this year. 9 times. 9 people told you it was the best attraction this year for 2024. It adds up, doesn't it? Now, when the truth wiggles out, it makes you realise. Click, click. 9 times 2024 for the North Norfolk Railway. Now, let's get real, shall we? Because while I'm still digging, right, out of all of 1,573, right, get real, right? So I'm not being dishonest, right? That's 9 times for good reputation. Now, why do I click on number 9 on the poor side? Why? Because I have to be damn honest. Right. Ding, 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 ding. You see, I know when people are lying and telling the truth. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there was 9 positives for 2024, and then you're ending up with 6 as the last one. Now wake up, right? Because the eyes and the ears can show it. Just, just think about this correctly and say 2024 has the lowest rating for the North Norfolk Railway, and they got the best reward. Why? Because they cheated. Cheaters do not win. Why? So if there was 9 good positives for 2024, why 6 of them are terrible then? Wake up. Smell the coffee. Because when you look at it, you people that don't do their homework or research, I said 6 good positives for this year and 9 negatives. Works the way round it, vice versa. So work it out. How do I know I'm right? You are in the wrong, North Norfolk Railway, and I'm catching you out. How? 2024 award you got this year, you cheated. The North Norfolk Railway cheated on their award. So, what happens when the North Norfolk Railway gets caught out this year? Well, it shows you that we don't want the North Norfolk Railway to cheat, but they have cheated on the community, on the public, the trust of the community. I said, where's the honesty? The North Norfolk Railway is dishonest on you. Right? People should be aware. Don't go back and look at the good reviews all the time. Look at this year all the time. Then every year, which is what I would do it by year. Don't do it by month or how terrible it is. Because once you look at what they have gained this year, they are the worst attraction of the year. The reason why they bribed the TripAdvisor that bad is because they're desperate. Right? I say don't look at the reviews in general. Do it by year. Right? Because when you do it by year, you get the truth. Right? The year of this year, which I would say it had got 9 good points and 6 terrible points. So work that out. Doesn't add up, does it? But it's adding up correctly because it's correct. Why? When the honesty comes out, right? 9 good reviews this year and 6 bad ones. Work that out. It adds up, don't it? Just for 2024 of the North Norfolk Railway. If you look at the past tense stuff, you're just going to go, boom, boom, why? Why do I cut out the rest of the years? Because I like to make the railway honest. Why? I want them, that management up there, to kick their asses in gear and say shit, 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 which they will be doing. They've been sitting in their pants and realise they screwed up. Why? For being dishonest and also being deceitful. There are other attractions out there that deserve that award. The North Norfolk Railway may be the best coastal route in Norfolk, but in reality, wake up. It doesn't take a genius to dig in deep, right? When you realise how they rigged it, how they bribed it, and how they got that award, right? That award is basically what just killed them. Why? Because I'm not laughing. I'm sick, strict, and stern this year. Why? I'd rather be honest with the public around here. You know, when the North Norfolk Railway is open to you, right, you're going to end up crying wolf because you realise they lied, they've been deceitful, and they've been dishonest to the bloody people that like TripAdvisor, for example. Why? TripAdvisor uses past tense to back them all up. I said, no, 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 no. We don't do it that way. We have to make the honesty better on the premises. Why? Because if we're being dishonest with that community, we're not going to get any more customers for next year, or the year following that, or the rest of the year. Why? Because the North Norfolk Railway has been completely dishonest with you. Why? Because they lied, they bribed, and they're using all the past reviews as the backup. Why? They don't realise they rigged the TripAdvisor for you. Think about it. Everybody can be completely honest and be honest. You know, don't hide it. You know, if you're not going to be honest, don't use the damn thing. You know, it's like saying don't use Facebook, don't use Google, don't use TripAdvisor because you're not going to get the honesty out of that unless you jump into the building and realise you've got the honesty. Right? You have to be honest with everybody. It's just a bit of policy to keep the company in or the passengers in. Why? They're trying to be honest, but they can't be honest with everything you do. Right? So you have not 6 bad ones and 9 good ones this year. That doesn't make you a perfect railway for the whole year because I know exactly what the TripAdvisor is doing against you. So when TripAdvisor looks at all your good points, they don't count. Why? The TripAdvisor for the North Norfolk Railway has been disqualified. Why? Because they've been dishonest. Why? Because they're using past tense to rig the whole TripAdvisor not to be honest. If they did this year by year properly from January to December, they probably got better reviews, better points, and they get resets every year. So it enables everybody to realise, yeah, but you can't lie. If you lie and be deceitful and be dishonest, it doesn't count. So every year, you're looking at 1 year. Every year. If people were dishonest like that, I will catch them all out and say you're not allowed back on the premises. Period. When the honest people going back on there. Why? If you don't look at the honesty of why they got that award, people ask that question in their heads, right? I give you the result for that, right? You're gonna start waking up and smelling that coffee and realise, what? Uh, yeah, you're gonna be dropped short because you're lost. Why? Because the management been worsened off because they lost their points. They lost their award. Right? They're gonna cry wolf and then they're gonna say, "Who messed us up?" I said, "No, you screwed yourselves up." Why? Because you only have to look at 1 year to work it out in your head. Right? When you do that with every attraction, it does help the procedure. Right? A lot of people just like to be dishonest. Right? I'm not being rude. That's where it's all landing. I said, grow up. When we look into the deeper, I said the deep end of it all, when we have eyes and ears everywhere, we work it out instantly. Right? People that don't know what the bloody hell's going on, I want you to be realising that the North Norfolk Railway screwed up everybody. Right? I'm telling you, that's how they're screwing you up. Because you probably had a nice day on the premises or on the railway. But the problem is, when it comes to year by year by year, what conflicts the reward they got for this year for 2024 ends up being less than what it is. Why? Because they rig on the reviews they had in the past. Now take all the past and use only 2024 and work it out. Because all the reviews may change over the years. I may understand that. But the reality factor is it's not just about the money factor. When bad reviews come up in later form of the year, that will come tripling correctly. Right? You're not going to say, oh, God damn it. TripAdvisor might look into this and say, okay, this guy's looked into this. I said, look, TripAdvisor, do something about it because you're losing the problem here. You're not looking at the bigger problem here. People like recent up to date stuff. Why? I understand that from the whole community will probably agree with me. I said the North Norfolk Railway likes to rig. Why? Because they like to think they can keep the past tense reviews as the backup to get them a better result every year. No, 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 no. You do not. That is discrimination, and they also class as cheating because you're not being fair to everybody else. So when you it's like winning the contest or winning the actual, you know, competition. Right? They do not rig the system. Right? When you rig something like that, it makes the North Norfolk Railway look bad as it is anyway. But the honesty is the best policy. If they don't like it, tough shit, excuse my language. But there you go. You got your truth. You've been honest. I've been honest with you, saying, look, they only didn't get many good reviews this year. Sorry about that. We're gonna take that bloody review, that bad review out and say no. They don't deserve that award, sir. Yes, Thomas, and there you go. We know that. So what we do is we intervene and we stop it. Why? We nail on the bud to tell you they don't deserve that award this year. Why? Halfway doesn't count. A full year of 2024 then get calculated up properly. Why? Every year is going to reset. Why? Because if you cheat, which is the North Norfolk Railway did, they cheated their way up to the top. Why? Because they're using past tense information they're not allowed to use. They may be in the past, they probably got good reviews or it was going up and up and up and up. But then people are now starting to see sense why you rigged it. You rigged it with the TripAdvisor and Facebook and everybody else. Then why a lot of them will not be honest. Right? They had to be honest on the day when it was best. It's basically like saying to you, in a lot of ways and one, the cop that any people will right, will comment and review on it, but they have to be honest on the year, right? They have to be truthful and say, look, how many good reviews have you had this year? When it's April to April, too early. Do it from January. Do it from when you start working, opening up for summer season. You do not get the award until the end of the year. Why? Because a new one will follow suit. Because the points get resetted to actually say, right, the reviews for 2025 can be different from 2024. So you do not cheat your way up to the top. No, 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 no. That will not happen anymore because I'm catching them out. So for 2024, the North Norfolk Railway's got the lowest points in their award system. So their award system, the best award they got this year is false. It's false accuracy information. Why? Because they're using past tense reviews just to cheat their way up to the top. Right? I don't like cheaters. I don't like liars. And I don't like deceits. And I do not like disrespect. That railway has to be completely honest on the year to the end of the year. Right? Every year, everybody's going to start working hard with it. Right? Every year, points reset themselves. Why? Because that'd be honesty on top, may I add. And number two, everybody plays fairly with that system. No more rigging, no more keeping old reviews. Because why? Because it changes as time goes on. Right? When you look at TripAdvisor again, get real. Because if you backlog it, which is where the North Norfolk Railway are cheating, they're using backlogs to say, oh yeah, we were the best attraction the following year. I said, look again. Do it by year and year. And look at it very closely. It doesn't take a master genius to work that out. Right? People are going to start getting sick and tired realizing the North Norfolk Railway are rigging the system. Why? Because they know how to cheat and lie and be deceitful and lie to their teeth. They're going to realize they screwed up. Right? If you don't bloody believe me, just ask yourself the question. How many did they earn this year in 2024 on its own? Without the rest of the past log reviews. You're looking at this year's review points. Right? This is where TripAdvisor slipped up. Right? So did the North Norfolk Railway for lying and being deceitful and being dishonest. Right? The community knows they got lost what you will call smaller points this year. They didn't have what you call it these days, right? They didn't have 1,573. That's completely dishonest and disrespectful. Why? Look at the years. That's how I catch them out. I said, regardless it's 4.5, it isn't. Why? Because you're looking at this year and then they will change the review and they will update everything. Why? Because at the end of the day, being fair and honest and trustworthy and kind and everything else comes with the territory with me, yes, but the reviews are very essential to stay in 2024 only. Why? Because then you're being honest with the customers and you're also being honest with yourself and you're also being honest with everything else. If you lied saying, oh, we've been excellent since blah, 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 no, you do not cheat your way up to the top again because it won't work. It never has been. It's been one flawed and mistake they've done over time. Big mistake, big slip up. Why do you think my eyes and ears know everything? Why? Because if you want the honesty out of the North Norfolk Railway or any attraction around the UK, they have to be honest on a year-to-year basis, and then the years will get resetted from the beginning of the year of 2025, where it starts at the bottom. It'd be like saying, right, depending on the customers and their point of view of it, of course, they have to be honest with you, right? They can't be dishonest, right? If you bring the dishonesty in, you're out of the building, right? I don't want the North Norfolk Railway to go bloody dead under anyway. But the honesty is that the North Norfolk Railway's got the lowest ratings this year. Why? You see, nine and let's say 9 and a 6 is very popular these days to a degree. But why? You see, when people look up poor and the excellent at the top, they use 2024 onwards. They cannot go back because using past tense reviews is lying and cheating and rigging. Thank you very much indeed.